So hey guys, how are you all? Welcome to. So we are back with a brand new movie on What If Naruto Was Robin excited upcoming new Powers movie, but before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. A man stood in the middle of the vast void. He was a tall, lean and muscular man with a tanned skin and spiky golden blonde hair. His eyes was in a cerulean color as blue as the sea and the sky in the middle of spring. On his cheek was whiskers like birthmark, 3 on each side giving him the appearance of a fox. He wore a white kimono with a maroon-red trimming, tied with a reddish-orange obi with markings like pattern. The clothing material hung loosely by his shoulder, giving a side to his chest and upper abdomen. Chiseled with lean muscle and hardened by hours upon hours of hardship and training, he has literally a body every female would love and every male would want. He has the look of a 17-year-old teenager. A 17-year-old sorrowful teenager. This man was Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, the child of prophecy, the Nidaime Rakudo Sennin and finally a proud hero of the elemental nation. Behind him stood a humongous fox-like monster. He was covered in orange fur with black outlining his mouth and eyes. He has long ears like a rabbit, his front leg like a human hands while his hind legs were paws. He has blood-red eyes with slit pupils courtesy of his animalistic genes and most of all, long 10 foxtails. This was the feared Kyuubi no Yoko, now Jubi no Yoko, Kurama the fox. The partner, tenant, and friend of Uzumaki Naruto. Currently his face was set in a somber-like expression, showing his saddened mood for all in the world to see. So Kit, here we are, huh? His voice bore deep sorrow. A mockery of his usually fierce, strong, and slightly devilish voice. At least we're still together. Honestly Kurama, I'm prepared for this. For my death after sealing the Jubi in me and set you as the main form and personality. But it still hurt. And why the hell are you here with me? Weren't you immortal? Naruto questioned his partner, tears streaking down his face unrestrained. You are chakra, so why did you die? His voice was now bordering to hysterical. Kit. Kurama sighed loudly as he tried to calm his sobbing partner. For starters, you absorbed every ounce of chakra I had, and even if you didn't I will still follow you. Only you Kit, ever showed me kindness and forgave me of everything I've ever done to you and your village. You're the only one over the course of hundreds of years that gained my respect on everything. Above all Kit, you're my friend. Kurama crouched down and pulled the sobbing teen into a hug. Now snap out of it, hero, he patted the sniffling blonde. Thank you, Kurama. The teen whispered between sobs. Thank you. You don't know how much it meant for me. Anytime Kit. After a few sniffle and sobs later, Naruto grinned a small smile. But still, to think that the big bad Kurama would pull a crying teen into a hug. You must love me so much, huh? Naruto was now smiling his goofy smile as Kurama deadpanned and shoved his free hand into his face with a small groan and a sigh, then followed with a sweat drop. Of all the times you could ruin a moment, Kurama started as he brought his hand down to reveal his comically tired face. Why must you ruin this one? We're probably having the saddest moment of the century. Kurama shrieked as he gestured his hands to point their condition by stretching them widely. After a silent minute, however, the two fell into guffaws and hysteric laughter. The previous grim and sorrow nothing but a past memory waiting to be forgotten. But I guess you're right. That's really out of character for me. I should have just devoured you back then. He joked with a goofy smile, though judging by Naruto's stiff smile, it probably looked demonic. But really, thank you Kurama, what would I do without you? He smiled and wiped the last of his tears away. Small sniffles sounded in the otherwise silent and empty land. Kurama turned around and glared at his partner while said partner quickly raised his hand and waved it innocently as if saying, I swear I'm not sniffling and crying again. The duo looked around, trying their damn hardest to search the cause of the snifflings only to found nothing. Sighing, Naruto chose to ignore whatever the voice was. That is, until someone spoke. That is the saddest thing I ever heard in all my life. Whipping their head around at seemingly impossible speed, the pair came to the sight of a being made purely of light. It stood at the height of 6 feet 9 inches, not so short by standards. Other than a pair of beautiful purple eyes, and a mouth, nothing can be seen. Beside it, stood a specter-like being with pale gray face and 2 red horns, having a long shaggy white hair. He wore a white kimono and in his waist was a tanto sword. The specter-like being grinned, showing rows of jagged sharp teeth inside his mouth. Shinigami-sama, Shinigami. The pair conversed their shock with a pointed finger to the grinning specter. Meanwhile, the light being giggled with mirth at the unfolding drama. I know that he is Shinigami, but who are you? Naruto asked the light being with a raised eyebrow. With a polite bow, the light being introduced itself with a melodious voice and a smile. Greetings. Naruto Uzumaki, Kurama. My name is Kami. The two beings chuckled heartily as they looked at the slack-jawed idiots that was Naruto and Kurama. Naruto opened his mouth, closed it moments later, and opened it again. This cycle happened for a few times before settling on closing his mouth and pointing at the still chuckling Kami. Looking at Kurama, the giant fox shared the same fate, if not worse. His jaw stretched far down to the floor, to the length that seemed impossible in reality. His eyes widened comically and his eyeballs seemed to want to jump out of his pocket. Wow! The real Kami. Naruto snapped out of his initial shock and dashed to the amused god, then proceeded to shake hands with it. Pardon my rudeness, but why are you here in Afterlife? Naruto asked as he tilted his head to the side in confusion. I could understand if Shinigami stays here. Well, shouldn't you be in heaven or something? Pointing his hand up in the sky, which is non-existent there, he emphasized his point to the amused Kami, who was still giggling uncontrollably. Let me tell you something as we wait for this. Shinigami paused in the middle of his word as he pointed to his still giggling companion. Giggling idiot to finish. For starters, this place isn't the real afterlife. This is just an empty void between living world and afterlife. 2. Kami has some business with you, which wasn't my business as I've no authority over it, and 3. Please close your mouth, fox, or I'll cut it down. Shinigami glared annoyedly at Kurama's slack jaws that constantly created a pool of saliva with a bit of a silent hiss of disgust. As Kurama snapped his jaw back and joined his partner, Kami regained its bearing and with a small cough, gained the other occupants' attention. Naruto, Kurama, I have seen how you lived your life from the very beginning to this very end. Thus I want to say that I'm very sorry for everything that happened to you earlier in your life and sorry for not helping you even though I should have. Kami bowed down in apology. Naruto wasn't so sure of what he should do. In front of him was a bowing Kami. Behind him was a slack-jawed Kurama that would be out of commission to help him sort out his condition. Having a literal god bow down to you in apology have that kind of effect on people. And just behind the bowing Kami was the ever-uncaring Shinigami who fiddled with his prayer beads. Yup, definitely no help. Kami-sama, I think I'm okay. I have already come to terms with everything in my life, so please stand up. True. Kami said as he stood up. Please get on to business, Kami-sama, I have some business to attend in the afterlife. Shinigami grumbled in the back as he continuously sheathed his tanto in a dangerous manner as emphasize. My apologies, Shinigami-sama. Well, Naruto, Kurama, let's get on to business. With a snap of his fingers, a soft carpet appeared along with 4 cups of tea and cookies. He sat down on the carpet and gestured for the other to do so. Shinigami sat down beside his companion, took the cup of tea, drank it and then threw it away into the distance. Naruto's sweat dropped at the Shinigami and followed suit with Kurama not far behind. Well, what's your business? Naruto asked matter-of-factly. We were kinda wondering. Kami started but was soon cut off as Shinigami grumbled and annoyed, get over the damn business, and so he sped up his talk, if you want a second life. You mean I will get reincarnated? Naruto summed up. With a nod, Kami and Shinigami gave their answers of clarification. Actually, it will be more like your rebirth. What's the difference? Kurama asked as he picked a cookie and munched on it. Reincarnation would mean born with a new body and no memory. Like starting anew. While rebirth would mean that you have the same form and memory as well as all your accumulated experience intact. The only downside is that you're de-aged and it'll be awkward. Shinigami explained with a monotone voice as if disinterested. We plan rebirthing you in a different world, he said. Oh, wait. What? Naruto squawked indignantly in shock. What do you mean different world? Why different world? Naruto asked. Kid, I think you don't understand that you died saving the world. Kurama stated with a deadpan look. At Naruto's confused look, the giant fox sighed. You saved the world. Everybody knows you. If you born in the same body, everyone will then have superstitions about you and they will expect you to carry the same burden as your old self and it will be like the same life again. Kurama explained with a raised paw and sage nod, his patented lecture position. Kami nodded and Shinigami clapped in fascination at the fox's intelligence. So child, what's your answer? Shinigami asked impatiently as he, again, pulled his tanto out for a quick swing. Kurama. Naruto turned to his friend, what do you think? Personally, I think we deserve a fresh start. Besides, we are both adventurer by nature and a new world was what we actually needed. Kurama grinned in excitement as he made a thumbs up with one of his paws. Count me in. We're in the game, Kami-sama. Naruto smiled in confidence. So what kind of world is this? The world you will be reborn in was chaotic, as we could say. There's the world government and marines that sets worldwide rule in the name of justice. Seriously, they're a true idiot and hypocrite. Moving on, it's in the era of pirate. Thousands of people tried to find the ultimate treasure of the world, the so-called One Piece. There are 4 pirate groups that kept the pirate side stable, known as the Yonko. There are some people in that world that's capable to use some power by eating the devil fruit. By the lords, why is it named devil fruit, anyway? There's this wretched human in astronaut costume named the Tenryubito. They're like the great nobles of the world and is actually a fan of slavery, so if you want to live a peaceful life, go to secluded island and get as far away from civilization and the Tenryubitos. Shinigami explained with a sigh. Anyway Naruto, you're free to choose your own path. Just be careful and try to enjoy this life of yours. The world seems to be good for a few destruction, don't ya think so, Kit? Kurama grumbled in annoyance at the mention of the world noble. We should just kill them if we saw them later. Agreed. Personally, I prefer you to become a pirate. Even though some of them are pure evil, there are some notable ones that was good. Anyway, you'll have your memories, abilities, jutsus, you name it. But you still need to train your new body and chakra reserves again. That good? Kami asked. At the nod of Naruto, Kami grinned happily. Then we shall start. Shinigami, if you may. Finally some job. Shinigami grinned evilly and walked to Kurama, who began to sweat bullets. Relax Fox, this won't be too painful, I hope. What was the only thing that the scared fox get before Shinigami's hand pulled his soul out and sliced it with his tanto? Kurama's body became crimson motes of light and followed the soul into Naruto's body. Having finished to reseal Kurama in Naruto, the Shinigami backed away from the teenager and into the back of Kami. Kami walked forward and in a grand gesture, a white and gold staircase appeared. It leads up into a large golden gate. Catchy. Naruto whistled in awe. You know, I thought that I will disappear into golden light or something equally classic. But, stairway to heaven. This is taste Kami-sama. Naruto nodded sagely. I have my moment. Kami thought before he and Naruto walked up the staircase and into the open gate, into the new world. Puga Village, Belly Island, East Blue. It was dawn on Puga Village, a small village in the center of Belly Island in East Blue. The town wasn't too big that you'd get lost when you go there, nor was it so small that you can travel around it blindfolded. It was really just a decent village with around 300 people living there. The village was surrounded by green forests and a few mountains. A river ran along the village into the sea where most people worked as fishermen in the dock. But that wasn't our current interest. It was inside a small hospital in the middle of the village that you can hear the sound of mighty struggle. Just a bit more Ms. Aisha. In one of the many rooms there, you could find one where a woman with striking blonde hair was grunting and screaming in agony as she laid in the patient bed, sweating bullets as her legs spread wide, and a few nurses and doctor encouraged and helped her laboring process. This woman was Aisha. She has a pale spotless skin, blonde back-length hair and purple eyes. Her body was well endowed and voluptuous, easily matching any model and defeating them. With a mighty scream of effort, she pushed her baby out of her yet again. You can do this, Ms. Aisha. A nurse cheered. I know DAMMIIT, she screeched. A few more minutes of continuous cursing, yelling, screaming, and cheering. The form of a small baby with healthy-sized body was visible. With a mighty bellow, the child cried. The nurses and the doctor cheered while Ms. Aisha herself sighed in fatigue and relief. Looking at the child, Ms. Aisha let a small smile grace her lips. Aisha, it's a boy. The doctor said as he gave the woman her newborn child. He looks like you and Nate. Can you get Nate for me? She asked with tired gasps. He needs to see handsome here. With a smile, she took her newborn baby and inspected him. He has innocent-looking blue eyes, and a striking blonde hair with a tan skin color. A birthmark in the form of 3 whiskers on each side of cheeks gave him the looks of a fox. He's so cute. After a while, a man came in rushing with one of the nurses. He has black hair, a tan skin and sky blue eyes. He was tall and muscular. A body gained through countless times of hard work. He is the husband of Aisha. His name is Nate. He works as a fisherman and sometimes hunter. Making his way to his beloved wife and newborn, Nate kneeled to come face to face with his lying wife. Hey sweetheart, he greeted in a whisper of joy. Hey dear. Look, he is our baby. She showed the small blonde baby boy in her hand. He's so handsome, what should we name him, Aisha? Kami stood in the side of the room, enjoying the heartfelt moment and the sight of a strong hero reduced into a crying baby. Kami silently chuckled as he heard the woman cursed and screamed as she pushed the baby out of her womb. He had made damn sure that he told Naruto to cry as loud as he can when he came out, and luckily he followed with his lecture. From the side, Kami watched the woman he had chosen to be the mother of Naruto smile and cry at the sight of the little babe and hugged him. Looking to the baby himself, He could see that the child was sending him awkward looks as if saying, "No one said that she will hug me like this." Cammy chuckled happily as the man he assumed was the father came to the room and hugged his wife. "He's so handsome, what should we name him, Aisha?" he heard the man ask to his wife. As the two contemplated their options, Cammy called the wind and whispered lightly on it. "His name, Naruto." Aisha's eyes widened as a small voice in the air sounded on her eardrum. It told her to name the child Naruto. Every time she ignored it, it sounded right back, as if persuading her to use the name. With a small inaudible sigh, the woman relented with nature. "Let's name him Naruto." "Naruto?" his husband questioned with mirth. "Why would you name our child Fishcake?" Weakly glaring at his husband and gave him a soft bonk on the head, she spoke. "Don't you hear the wind?" "Wind?" his husband asked. "Maybe you're just tired, honey?" "No, I really heard it clear and it said I should name him Naruto." Aisha sighed. "And if you change the characters you could say that it means maelstrom, dear." She chided with a soft smile. "If you sure then." Her husband relented. As if on cue with the husband and wife's end of discussion, the morning sun rose from its slumber in the horizon, giving light to the world and starting of a new day. Looking at their baby, they could see him grinning a goofy smile and laughed at the sight of the sun giving the child a graceful smile. Aisha leaned and kissed his forehead. "This little boy will be a great man in the future, I just know it." Maybe he'll be a pirate." Nate spoke. "A good badass pirate." Aisha joked and they laughed together with the nurses and doctor. "For all my life, I could never truly experience any other situations more awkward than the first few years of my life in this new world. You know, no one honestly could never remember when they got their first breastfed. Well, now I know what it tastes and seriously, having to, dare I say it, suck my own mom's breast and drink fresh milk from it. In a way, I felt like a massive pervert rivaling even Eros Senin himself. On the other hand, however, I will be dying of hunger through lack of nutrients. Can't have that now, can we?" That was only the first thing have to go through. Another of this awkward experience was bathing. Damn, that was crazy. I got to see my mother, and to addition, father naked together in the bath while washing and touching my bare body. I know that back in Konoha, we sometimes share baths in onsen and publics, but still it was male with male, and even then we wore towels on our lower half. This is pure uncensored nakedness in bath. Seriously, don't they know that they're poisoning their own child's mind? Knowing them, probably they don't know. Then, worse of this, they started to make out in the bath, almost fucking too. No, bad Naruto. Bad Naruto. Forget those. As awkward as it may be, I've too act all cute and innocent around people. For example, that one time when mom showed me a new jiggly toy and doll after giving me my daily breastfed. Flashback. "Look, Naru-chan. Mommy got some new toys." My mom cheered happily as she showed me a small doggy doll and a small jiggly stuff that looks like a ball attached to a stick. "Why don't you play?" she suggested with a sweet smile as she gave me the two toys she had before setting down and watched me intently like a stalker. Under her gaze, I have to act like a child my age. Fuck being toddler. Fuck being a little helpless baby. Fuck these toys. I cursed in my mind. Outside, I smiled innocently and crawled to the two new toys as I threw my previous ones back down. "Daw. Ooh." I gushed out gibberish with a somehow strained smile. Seeing as she cared none for it, I continued with the act while continuously played with the two toys. But if you could see, I was clearly crushing them slowly. Poor toys. "Ah. Aren't you the cutest child in the world?" she cooed. "Yeah, right." Giving an eye roll, I pouted and stared at my mother. "I know I'm handsome, cool, amazing, and badass. But cute? For real, mom?" I whined pitifully in my head. "This sucks wonderfully." "Ah. Look at you, kid. You're so cute, I want to kill you so badly." Kurama chuckled crazily in my head. Making sure my annoyed scowl aren't visible, I went to give him his reply. "I love you too, Kurama," I stated dryly with an epic eye roll. "Now fuck off." Mommy Aisha stood up and giggled before picked me off the ground. She pulled me to the valley of her chest and enveloped me in a mother bear hug. I wailed my protest heartily and waved my arms and legs like my life depended on it, which actually was right to make her notice. However, being a loving mother, she took my message as "I love you too" and decided to coo me further with the hug. Unable to take things more than this, I decided to use my last trump card. The power of all baby in the world. I cried. UWAH. Yeah, that was annoying. Even Kurama agreed with me. Meh, but now that I was 7-year-old I was in no more of those awkward misery. I'm free to do my things alone too. Like say, I can now go to bath alone, sometimes still sharing with my father, but that was all. I no longer have to be fed by my mother. I'm also sleeping by myself. Having my privacy back never truly felt this good. Oh, most of all, I managed to persuade my parents to let me help with work and let me train myself in the forest. At first, the two of them was really against me, but with a small bit of persuasion, and a sweet pleading, I want to be as strong as Daddy. And they all went, go ahead my boy. And all were fine and dandy now. Currently, I was seated in a stump in the forest, meditating and trying to work with my chakra. At least, I attempted to before interruption decided to bear its ugly face on me in the form of a girl, a year younger than me. She has purple of all the colors available in the world as her hair color and violet eyes with cat-like slits. She's a good 2 inches shorter than me, with round innocent face that makes most people want to gobble her up. But I'm the furthest away from normal people, so let's leave the topic. On top of her head was 2 small purple cat ears. Yes. A devil fruit eater. Zone. Nako Nako no mi type panther. How she ate the weird fruit is beyond my understanding. All she ever said was that it was cute looking and soft, then it has weird taste, and then she can't swim and she felt like all waters in the world are her destined enemy. She loved to bother me since she was 4, and seems to me that she was alive, and simply created by Kami for that sole purpose and that purpose alone. Still, she was a good company aside from Kurama. Ah, almost forgot. Her name's Lu-chan as I called her. Nay, Naru ni, why are you sitting there all day? Come on and play with me, she whined loudly right beside my ear, giving me a nice ringing. Let's have some fun fishing or maybe hunting, she suggested as she practically bounced in anticipation, making me chuckle at her since she reminded me of the old me long time ago when I'm still the hot-headed knucklehead genin. Those were good times. Sai did it again. I really need to cut all the moping and reminiscing lest I became an emo like Sasuke Teme. She wants to have a good fuck with you, Kit. Kurama snickered with a mental equivalent to a perverted giggles. Smirking lecherously, he spoke once again. She'd make a fine maid, don't cha think, Kit? Go. Screw her senseless and show her we're the alpha males. Groaning internally, I growled at his perverted tendencies. Screw you, Fox. How come simple invitation of let's play become something like let's fuck? Something's wrong in your head, I know it. Keep telling yourself that, Virgin Coon, he said, chuckling at something I'm not sure existed in my head. Fuck you, was my only reply before focusing myself to the little impatient kitten who was ready to scratch me to pieces. Lu-chan, I'm busy training to be stronger here, maybe later? I tried to reason her through. She gave me a pout and inflated her cheeks in little anger before throwing temper tantrums at me with various pointings and shrieks. I promise I will catch you a batch of fish later, alright? Resorting to bribery, I couldn't help but think that I've become such a vile existence to bribe an innocent panther girl. With a HMPH, she threw her face away at me, all the while blushing and giving glances to me. Yup. Definitely a Tsunere. I giggled to myself as I watched her HMPH ed again with her chin up in the air and her nose touching the sky. Then, after a series of, I'm holding your promise alright, and, I'll chew you if you forget your promise Naru ni, she hand morphed into her animal form, a small purplish black panther, and dashed away into the forest. Alright. Nuisance is gone. Time to get serious. Focusing on my internal chakra coils, I forced them out of my body and emptied them before using my seals I've placed on my body to forcefully insert natural chakra into my body. Biting back a scream of pain, I held myself steady before focusing on the gravity seal and increase it to 5 times of the normal one before started running around the small forest. Run, jump, push-ups, sit-ups, you name them all. I did all those workout for around 2 hours before using some other seal to increase the chakra insertion and depletion and rose the gravity seals by 2 times the previous. After a painful 4 hours of this all, I rested under a small tree before standing up and starting my taijutsu stances, using chakra to reinforce and strengthen my muscle to the point of breaking and using healing seals to repair it. The brutal training continued the rest of the day with me training and or destroying most of my body. By the end of this, in the afternoon around 5 p.m., I stopped and wobbled back home, Kurama lending me his healing factor and gave me my stamina back. Thanks pal. I thanked him gratefully with a sigh of relief as his powers worked its magic on my wrecked body. You're seriously idiotic, catatonic, self-destructive, and suicidal in this method of training. If you want to gain your reserves back, you know you can always ask me to help. Strength, you will have to train yourself. Jutsu? For us, that'd be a piece of cake. So stop killing yourself, idiot. He roared the last part loudly in my head, making me cringe on the outside. Yeah. You sound like mom just now. Geez, take it easy alright, I complained. Which mom are you talking about? Kurama asked. Aisha, Yubaka. Insert music. Pandora Hearts. Ost. Garden, by Yuki Kajiura. Our conversation abruptly stopped when I arrived outside my home. I opened the wooden door and walked inside, seeing my mother in the dining table with a glass of warm chocolate and a bundle of newspaper. My house was a simple one. If you walk inside, you will see a few sofa and a small wooden table placed for guests to sit and chat. Further inside, you will see the kitchen section with all its cookwares and utensils and a small dining table. A stair led to the second floor where my parents' room and my room together with one bathroom was placed. My room was placed a bit far from my parents so I'd not have to hear the awkward noises consisting of guttural growls, groans, moans, whimpers, and sometimes on rare occasions dirty insults from the room at night. My mom sat there, enraptured by the newspaper that she didn't realize my arrival. Deciding to indulge myself in my more prankster tendencies, I decided to shock her by silently crept up to her from behind and reached to her shoulder and "Don't try it, Naru-chan." She smiled her oh-so-sweet smile at me as she turned her head to face me. "You are 10 years too early to try to chalk me." Oofufu. She ended her sentence with her mocking giggle with a touch of holier-than-thou personality that says, "You can't beat me." With a playful pout, I whined, "You're no fun," and pulled a chair and sat down on it. "So what's it about, Mom?" End music. Mom ran a hand through her blonde hair in tired sigh before replying swiftly without missing a beat. "The Tenryubitos are making a racket with their acts of slavery and the Marines and World Gov are leaving them be just because they're nobles." Mom complained as she gave me the newspaper to show the picture of humans with metal choker tied with chains on their necks led like cattle by a man with whips. "Disgusting scums," she cursed. "I know. They're complete assholes," I said, in which earned myself a glare from my mother and quickly raised my hands in a begging gestures. "My utmost apologies," I pleaded. "You don't know how scary Mother Aisha can be with a simple glare, a sickly sweet smile that promises death on those who did her ill, and a small simple frying pan. God knows the horror that will be unleashed upon the world and the poor bastards." With a nod, she accepted my apology and sat back down. "Phew, saved for now. I'm close there. To dying. I think slavery's inhuman, Mom. Why would you use your own kind like a damn livestock in a farm?" "Servant, I can relate." "Slave, no," I said with a firm scowl pressed on my face. My own smiled at me before scowling again. "As much as I agree with your view on this matter, I will have you know that I accept no swearing in this house for you. Yet," she said before smiling again, "but I'm happy to know that you're growing to a fine man that cares for other." "Of course," I said proudly. The rest of the day was uneventful for me. Dad went home, exchanged a few kisses with Mom, went to the bath with me, ate dinner, and have some family talk as per usual schedule of bonding. Then at 10:00 we all go to our respective chamber to sleep. Thinking over my plan for tomorrow, I will have to join my dad to the sea to get Lu-chan some fish. Damn cats. The next morning, it was exactly 6 a.m. in the morning. The people here mostly were still in their dreamlands. Now, me and my dad, Nate, was sitting patiently in a small fishing boat about 20 miles off the shores. Up until now, since starting 1 hour ago, all we managed to get was small fishes that won't even worth 10 berry if you sell them. Worse, there was only 5 of it. In that sense, either the wish was having a heavy migration somewhere or something's off here and that something was scaring the shit out of the swimming money. "Dad, I think something's wrong here." I voiced my opinion. "We usually got a massive pile of them. Now we barely got more than the number of our fingers." I warned him as I once again pulled my fishing rod to pull a small inch barely the size of my pinky before pulling it off the hook and throw it so far away into the sea with a small sound of slup, as a sign it sank back into the sea. "I agree, Naruto," he said. "Maybe we should end the fishing now and go hunting instead. Maybe we can get a deer for dinner and F-Zero our sale." He grinned his goofy smile at the prospect of selling another deer. He was about to row back before a giant shadow under the sea appeared to the surface and shot out from the water right in front of us. Jaw gaping, full of sharpened teeth ready to gnaw the flesh off of your bones. Massive black eyes the size of a little child and body dwarfing the size of 5 fisherman boats combined. Yellow and green colored skin with slimy substance covering a good portion of them. The Sea King loomed over us like an executioner upon the sinners, baring its teeth, ready for the kill of the day. His breath smelled like dead fish and salt. Guess that explains where the hissing fishes went. His god-fucking stomach. "Oh. Fuck," was all my father could say before he used all his power to row as fast as possible to the shore. But due to the sheer length and size of the Sea King, he need only a small leap and we're all doomed. "Naruto, swim away now, he will focus on me and you can live in safe," he said with desperate pleading eyes of a man that's ready to die. "None of that shit, Dad," I rejected with defiance even as the Sea King reared its head back, ready to lunge his gaping maw and fangs to shred us to pieces and bloody chunks of meat. Just believe in me and hold on, alright dad. With that, I hold my dad in a way that I supported him to stand as if he has a leg injury. The maw came down upon us in no time and with a shout of, now. I jumped off the boat and into the air with strength that betrayed my size before channeling chakra to my feet and muscle to reinforce them and walk on water. With a loud tap, I landed on the water while the boat turned into splinter. The Sea King, currently a prisoner to its own attack momentum, only watched from below. Knowing my chance, I decided to sprint on the water as fast as I could in my current condition. The Sea King, now recovered, hot on my tails. Naruto. That son of a bitch is coming, my dad shouted in panic, only 5 miles away now. Stop talking. I roared back. Only 4 miles away, the Sea King being miles behind. 2 miles away. The Sea King right behind now and ready to munch us. The jaw was upon us. I can't move any faster. Dad was cursing continuously and Kurama was telling me to let him flood me with his chakra. My mind was too panicked to see the figure of my mother in the shore, complete with a bazooka and a few explosive grenades. With a pull from his teeth, the plug for one grenade was pulled and she threw it to the beast's gaping mouth before it exploded and sent us launching to her. Mom. Aisha. Me. She replied with a smirk before cocking the bazooka and aimed at the head of the still pained figure of the giant Sea King. Eat shit, motherfucker. She roared before clicking the trigger and a rocket went out of the shooter. Soon, a loud boom was heard and the form of the Sea King fell down below the surface, never to be seen again. That was badass. I screamed in wonder. You're the coolest mom ever, though Kushina Kachin can probably outrun her. I praised my mother and went to hug her. Thanks Aisha. I thought I'm gonna die, Dad said as he got up. Naruto. How in the name of the 7 layers of hell are you running on water? He asked with narrowed eyes with her mother following a second later. Shit, I fidgeted a bit under their gaze and with a very unconvincing smile I said, I can explain? Alright son, explain. Nate was just a normal and your everyday fisherman. Sure. He has seen his fair share of trouble with a few pirate and sea monsters. Heck, he has even seen the horrors that is devil fruit eaters. But, no, his son was another case altogether. As much as he knew, the only people in the island that has eaten a devil fruit was just Lou. But even so, she can't stand on water, heck she even hate water. Him, a normal human, capable of standing atop of water as if it was a solid surface was almost supernatural. His son couldn't possibly be a witch, right? Looking at Naruto's fidgeting and uncomfortable face, Nate couldn't help but sigh. Sneaking a glance to his side, Aisha can be seen with a deadpan look, as if telling them that this whole shit was stretching her schedule to its limit. Knowing her and her hobby, it will be something along the lines of looking at my weapon catalog or seeing the black market for the newest weapon. For this once, Nate can't scold her for her hobby knowing that said shady hobby has just saved his ass. Another silent sigh escaped his mouth. Couldn't his family be a little more crazy? Tisk. Who was he kidding with? Knowing his life, something more crazy will definitely came from his son after her wife pestered him enough. Meanwhile, Naruto was sweating bullets. If you could see past his idiotically unconvincing smile and closed innocent eyes, you could see that he was currently looking everywhere in search for distraction. This time, somehow he found a group of ant and a pebble very interesting to watch. If you were one of the Yamanaka clan, you will probably be able to hear the commotion inside his head loud and clear like an angry mob, on Independence Day, with a loud speaker. Mindscape. Thousands of mini Naruto, wearing different costumes with orange color theme, ran around screaming their lungs off like a headless chicken in riot. Red alarms sounded loudly across the control room while a large screen in the front part started to glow red while a red alert glowed with eerie crimson. Looking around, you could see a large group of mini Naruto holding firearms and another group of mini Naruto holding shields and various bladed weapon having a standoff. One side having a large banner saying tell the truth while the other was saying make a lie. Then chaos ensues as the firearm group started to randomly shot the bladed group while they braced their shields and charged with the weirdest battle cry. M-U-O-O-O-O-O. It sounded. In another side of the mindscape, you could see a smaller group of mini Narutos sitting in a large round table wearing orange lab coats and drinking oolong tea with a loud sigh of suffering while they debated of the pro and cons of telling lies and telling truths. With each passing second, they started to argue harder and harder. Soon, various colorful words of barbarian insults came from their mouth and they started to pull various objects out of their coats. One particular mini Naruto pulled a small onion out of his coats. He proceeded to cut the onion into 8 pieces and squeezed it into the eyes of one of the other mini Naruto, resulting in a loud screech of pain that made the 2 previous Spartan groups stop and cringe, before shrugging nonchalantly and resuming their war. Gia. My eyes. You piece of shit. Die. The red-eyed mini Naruto shouted before pulling a flamethrower out and burned the hair of the onion mini Naruto into black ashes. My precious Hairrrrr, he screeched in sorrow. Soon, you could see the smaller groups joining the two war groups and battling it out with each other again. In another corner, a group of cackling mini Naruto with insane looks were torturing a group of half-naked mini Narutos with whips and fiery torches. Black aura of doom surrounded their corner while moans of pain, agony and weird pleasure echoed. What will we do? One of the sadist mini Naruto roared. Whatever you wanted to do, master, one of the masochist mini Naruto answered loudly, earning himself a whip and giving a pleasured and tortured moans. UOOH. Ha! Worthless scums. We will formulate the biggest lie in the world, the sadists mini Narutos shouted. If you look to the corner, the farthest corner, you could see a large red and black couch made of mahogany wood and a comfy plush. On it, a large red 10-tailed fox sat with a movie glasses, legs crossed, tails fanning himself in a hot manner, a bottle of Coke in one hand, and a large bowl of popcorn in the other. Taking a handful of popcorn from the bowl, he placed it in his mouth and crunched with a loud crunch. Without a care in the world. Taking a sip from his Coke, Kurama enjoyed the rest of the spectacles. This will never gets dull, he said before laughed his guts out when one of the mini Narutos got his head decapitated with a golf stick and flew up to one of the other mini Naruto who screamed upon the sight of the head and proceeded to throw it to another one, resulting in a chain reaction of screaming and cursing. Yep. Never gets dull, indeed, he said with another crunch of his popcorn. Back to the real world. Aisha looked at his son with the ferocity of a hungry tiger. Didn't he know that she was a busy woman? As much as she adores him, she also adores her weapon, and even if his son was her top priority, her weapon also needs and deserves her attention seeing as they had saved the butts of his son and husband. With a barely restrained impatience, she asked her son, again. Naru-chan, I swear if you keep on being stony and silent this time I will shot you with a bazooka. Now, how in the world did you walk on water? She asked with a not-so-hidden trace of annoyance. Cue a cricket chirping in the background. That's it, Aisha roared as she picked her bazooka with her two hands and cocked it back, ready to launch another missile. A predatory gleam shined on her eyes and a pout made its way on her face. Son, if you don't survive, know that mommy will always love you, she says as he readies her bazooka and took aim. Nate went instantly on panic and grabbed her wife on a deadlock and hold her in her bazooka while screaming the heads off. How the other people hadn't heard them was the biggest mystery on the era. Meh, they probably ignored the crazy family. Release me, she shouted at Nate. The weapon bazaar is 1 hour away, she went ballistic. The hell? Nate screeched. To hell with your weapons, don't shoot your own son like he was nothing, damn it. He gave her a neck hold and tied both his legs into her waist while bending her body down, forming the dreaded spine-breaking hold. Ah! My back, she screamed. Meanwhile Naruto stood motionless in the back while his eyes gazed everywhere and his mouth mumbling incoherent words. His sweat was now pouring down like rain and you could see the footprint mark on the sand where he stands. Lou, at some point of time, came to the crazy family and she was now playing with a crab while staring at the two wrestling couple. Funny, was the only word she could say. Several moments later. So let me get this straight, Nate began. It has been around an hour after Nate finally managed to calm his wife from his weapon maniac state and woke Naruto up from his comatose. Using Lou to get home, they settled themselves in the beach and calmed down. Unmindful of the stares they got from the fishermen, they started their discussion about the whole thing with water walking, completely unaware of the mental discussion Naruto had inside his head. Kurama had been adamant on forcing his vessel to stay silent and gave them a false story about how he met a hermit that taught him how to walk on water and whatnot. However, being the kind and honest guy he is, Naruto declined. Instead, he gave them the full story. You are a hero in some place called Elemental Nation. You died because you sacrificed yourself to seal this almighty primordial deity to you. Then you meet with Kami and Shinigami, and they reincarnate you as my new BRN son for a better chance at life. Nate summarized the full tale. Did I get them right? He asked. Judging by the twitching of his eyebrow, he was quite skeptical with this whole thing. Can't blame him. Having a super-powered hero reincarnated to be your son does that to people. In the nutshell, he nodded, but I did truly love you both as my mom and dad, seeing as I never had them before. He added with his trademark foxy grin. However, his face then scrunched up with a displeased expression as he eyed the two adults in front of him. But you can do better than to show your make-out session when you're bathing together, he said. You were looking. Aisha screeched in Sakura-like way, meaning banshee scream. I am disgusted. Naruto denied heatedly before looking down, suddenly finding the sand to be particularly interesting. But I can't look away, he mumbled with a blush. Well, what do we do? Our son is quite the pervert it seems. Nate grinned like a loon. Well, what could he say? Teasing his son was kinda fun. Say, interested in incest. Several things happened in rapid succession after that particular question. 1. Aisha pulled 2 iron jeet from out of thin air. 2. Naruto developed a massive nosebleed. 3. Aisha bonked his husband and son in the head with the 2 iron weapon. 4. The 2 fell down unconscious and bleeding. Aisha huffed before turned away from his husband and son. A blush painted her beautiful face scarlet red. She stomped away angrily, forgetting the issue about his son with superpower and beast of immense and untold destruction inside him. Turns out your parents accepted better than I thought they would, Kit. Kurama smiled inside his mind. By the way, you should take your old man's offer. Your mom's hot, I don't mind you spend your virginity with her. A lecherous grin appeared in his face, as he lolled his tongue out and licked his lips in a predatory manner. Fucking pervert. Naruto grumbled through their mental link. Meh. I'm you, you are me. We share things. My perversity is also part of you. Hee-ya. I'm going nuts. The end. Thanks for watching, also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.